Yeah, so what they all have in common, these four people, is they're all on the terror watch list. They all have ties to known terror organizations, and all four tried to get into the United States. Three of them successfully. They went past the DHS border and the procedures, and they got into the interior, and some had extended stays. The one terrorist that we know of from Somalia actually was in the U.S. for more than a year before DHS ultimately found them, tracked them down, and arrested them. All four of these people have been arrested, so the system worked in the end, but not without some serious failures on the front end. So now you've got members of the House Homeland Security Committee and the chairman of that committee, Mark Green, Republican from Tennessee, sending these concerns directly to Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, demanding that he provide some answers as to how this happened, where the breakdown was, and asking for a hearing, a private briefing from Homeland Security to his committee and staff no later than April 17th. They want to figure out where the breakdown is, how they can fix it. Now, we did get a response from Homeland Security. They said essentially that they work with the FBI. They have very sophisticated methods to try to keep people out. They use biometrics, but that their system is only as good, frankly, as the data that they have. It does not always work perfectly. Nonetheless, they feel, and they tell us, they are keeping the American people safe. Still, we've seen these incidents now where they fall through the cracks. So it will be interesting to see over the next few weeks or so what the response is from the agency, Blake.
Okay, live for us once again in the Capitol hallways. Joe, thank you. I'll tell you one thing that I found striking about this was that statement, because there weren't specifics in it. And I wonder if you think that's the right statement, the right message coming out of the Department of Homeland Security after us learning about this.
Well, I think it can be very concerning if they were to release exactly how they vet people coming in. So I understand that they're not going to say exactly how they went through the vetting process. However, for them to say that they're keeping Americans safe is just simply not the case. I don't care whether you're a liberal, a conservative, a Republican, or a Democrat. You can look to the issue of immigration and recognize that our government has failed us for decades on this issue. And so not only do we need to secure the border, but we have to be talking about immigration reform and actually getting something done on this. It has to be bipartisan. We need people to come to the table. And another, I think, issue that's very largely under-talked about on this is the court backlog. From a legal perspective, if we doubled the amount of immigration judges we have, we would be lucky if we were to clear the cases we have in over a decade from now. So this is an issue that really has to be talked about, because we can't, with the way it's set up right now, actually get through all of these immigration cases.
Which, by the way, the most conservative border security plan in Congress ever presented that is real and possibly could pass was presented in this Congress. President Trump's the one that told Republicans to kill it.
But these cases happened before that.
No, I know. I'm just saying, to her point about, yes, we need more judges. That would have helped secure the situation at the border. Number two is, Republicans have been very effective, to your point earlier, of taking immigration, which used to be an economic criticism, you know, they're going to take our jobs, et cetera, has now moved to a public safety one. They've been extraordinarily successful with the messaging, and Democrats have been slow to respond. And this is not helping Democrats' argument. This is, I don't know policy-wise implications of this, but politically bad.
Yeah, how do you see this report and then say, you know what, the president's got everything under control?
Right.
I don't think that you do. I do think that this also goes back to the 9/11 Commission on terrorism and terrorist travel, because there were a lot of indicators there as to how people who are on the terror watch list get into the United States, and many of them go undercover for a while. And we knew it then, and much of those things have not changed up to now. And we're talking about 2001. In addition to that, DHS 3 years ago at this point, also released statements around the issues with consolidating the terror watch list. I think that those things have come to bear now. We're seeing the fruit of that. The lack of them being able to consolidate it. Also, who gets on and who's elevated versus who isn't. Because our terrorist watch list has had some significant issues for a long time.
You were shaking your head throughout the entirety of Joe's report.
And Madison hit on it. Keep the homeland safe. Who are you joking? Ask Officer Diller's family if he's keeping the homeland safe, or Laken Riley or Ruby Garcia. He's not. Everyone's well aware of this. And the fact these people crossed the border illegally should not be a shock to anyone. The border's been wide open by design since the beginning of this administration. And the bill that passed out of the House actually would have secured the border. And the reason you know that the one coming out of the Senate would not secure the border is simple, because the left and the media supported it.
No,
if it really would have done something to fix it,
and the most conservative senator in the U.S. Senate
a couple there.
Voted with
the bill that passed the House would have actually done the things we wanted to
had no
secure the
chance
border.
of becoming law.
Well, neither does this one.
It did until President Trump killed it.
No, it does till it doesn't. I voted for it before I voted against it. John Kerry, it didn't have a chance to pass. It was never going to pass the House. In addition, let's also talk about Chinese nationals coming across the border
Nothing within
as well.
that bill would have changed.
342 in 2021 came across the border, Chinese nationals now. We're up to 22,233 in this year alone. Already in 4 months.
Part of your concern. I'll give you the last word here.
No, I was going to say nothing within that package would have changed the backlog that we have currently, nor, again, the Commission on Terrorist Travel. There are several things that were listed from 2001 to today that were not addressed within that bill, and that would not have changed even if that bill passed.
Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.